when you have a camera with you, okay, first thing you have to understand, it is one box which captures the light within it. Okay. Now you have lots of cameras. You have film cameras, then you have digital cameras. Film cameras uses film to take a picture. So the film has been coated with silver highlights. So when you expose, light falls on it, and then you have an image. Now then what happened is, we thought films are too outdated. Then they brought digital. In digital, what will happen is, instead of the film, you will have a sensor. So when the sensor gets exposed to light, it captures the image, and then you will have it. Now with all cameras, there was one interesting factor. When you open this, you see a mirror, right? Okay. So this mirror is at an angle. Okay. So what happens is, light falls on this mirror, okay, and then it gets reflected. That's the most commonest. No, that doesn't happen like that. This mirror is what gives you the image in your eyepiece. So when you see through this, you see an image. No, that's the image which falls on the mirror. When you click the shutter, the mirror closes, exposes the sensors. Now, so then the sensor gets the light and the image. You understood so far? One box has a mirror, had a film is taken off, sensors are placed, then light falls on the mirror, you see it. Once you are okay with the composition, when you click, mirror moves, sensor gets exposed, image falls on the sensor. Got it? Now, next came mirrorless. Mirrorless are these cameras. When I take this, there is no mirror. You are able to see? Absolutely no mirrors. So there is no mirrors in this. So you have sensors, there is a shield, and that shield, when you press, gets opened, and then the sensor takes. Now we've been talking about films, we've been talking about sensors. Films are all, whatever you see on the screen, they are 35 mm. Films, which means 35 mm mention the size of the screens. Now you have screens, you have IMAX, you've seen movies, right? Huge ones, huge screens. So you have cameras which are having the same dimensions of a film. Now when you take these cameras are called as crop sensors or full frames. Okay, crop sensor is, it's not 35 mm, it's a miniature of 35 mm. Full frames are 35 mm. Okay, but then you have medium format. I didn't bring that camera because it's way too expensive and I am so scared to bring it. Okay, that one camera is around 13 lakhs. The lens is another 13 lakhs. Okay, why am I getting crazy? Bottom line. Okay, those are called as, it's from a company called Hasselblad. Okay, but the picture what you get is unimaginable. It's for landscape photography. We have to go to Norway, we have to go to Iceland. You see like a you can take a beautiful picture, but then that's what not we here. We're here for science today. So let's not go to Norway and Iceland. We'll come back to Delhi. So now the sensor, you have crop sensor, you have full, and then these are all full frames. Now why is it so important to know about the sensor is, now some of you take it as a hobby, some of you take it as a hobby and you use it in dentistry. Now when you use a full frame is like you're all standing there and I need the depth of each and one of you. So I need his depth. Depth meaning I have to see the full focus of him. So I need him, I need you, and I need me. So we get one full frame over there. Imagine a wedding photography. That's a full frame. Okay. When you get a crop sensor is like zooming that photograph. So which means you can zoom it, but periphery goes off. So if you are going to get a camera which you are going to fix it to a scope, don't go for full frame. Go for crop sensors. Why? Because it will multiply your magnification X times when you take the picture itself. So whatever you are seeing here now under microscopes, those are all crop sensors. So there are 4 more cameras with me. 3 are attached to the microscope, 1 is like attached to me. Okay. So then why am I doing this? Again I am telling you, this is sheer love to photography. I love camera. I am gadget freak. I am controlled only by my wife. Okay. Minusing that, it is very difficult. So then, so those are crop sensors. Okay, crop sensors are, you want to take 1 canal, 1 tooth, 4 tooth, 6 tooth. It's a very small area where you are focusing. So full frames is not required. Now, the difference between full frame and crop sensor is the cost. This is a 20-year-old, 2004 I got. So this is going to do some as old as somebody. Okay. So this is technically that old, but then this was my first camera. No, this was my 3rd camera, so still I have it. First camera that when I did my post-graduation I got those film ones. That camera was 8,000 bucks. Okay. Then this is 1.5 lakhs that time. This is 6 lakhs. And the one Hasselblad is 13 lakhs. But then why? Because I love to document. Now this is as far as the camera. So you should understand, camera has a box which collects the light part of it. So you have crop, you have full frame, and then you have medium formats. Medium formats are huge. You can take one picture and you can actually make it 10 times bigger than this and put it. You will not even find 1 grain over it. That big you can do it. If you want to check, go to Hasselblad and check. What beautiful. I am not there anywhere. Those guys take unimaginable photographs. Unimaginable. Sometimes the sceneries will make you think that why am I doing dentistry? Okay, you really wish to quit dentistry and go and do something else. But then this is what feeds me to get those things. So then you have 3 things. Remember the basic one. So crop, full frame and medium sensors. Now when will you use crop? Crop is when you are going to see objects in a very, very small scale. When you are going to use magnification or when you are going to connect it to the camera. So your microscope. Now this is as far as the body. Next comes the lens. Now in lens you divide it into only 3. I am not going to confuse you with lots of lenses. One is telephoto zoom lenses, which means I am going to zoom something very far. I am going to bring it closer. Now when you are going to zoom something, you will lose the depth. Depth, what I mean is you cannot see the peripheries. You will see, if I am zooming her head will be seen, the rest will be blurred. Okay? Now, that's one. Second is wide angle, which means I cannot zoom, but I can go as broad as possible. So those are called as wide angle lenses. Then you have macro lenses. Macro lenses are lenses where you take very, very close-up shots. In dentistry, we are only concerned about macro lenses. Okay? So now let's take off the zoom part. Let's take the wide angle. Now if you see, this is a wide angle lens. So it will be numbered as 16 to 35 mm. So which means it's quite a wide angle. If I use this, I can make you all stand and then this whole frame I can take it. So in dentistry, will this be useful? No, absolutely not. So in dentistry, what we will be using is these 2 lenses. Both are 100 mm. Okay. Now, what does this macro lens do is, they help you to take pictures pictures which are very, very close to you, and then you can see it in the same ratio. With photography, if I take one picture of her, we will not know the height, right? Height and depth we don't know. So when you use macro lenses, you have ratios in it where you can define it to that particular height, to that particular distance. So what happens is, when you want to check again, this will give you an idea. Now this 100 wide 100 mm lenses are 100 mm lenses are the ones which are always good for macro photography. Now in 100 mm lenses, you have EF lenses and then you have RF lenses. Okay? So it will be put here, 67. Oh. Yeah, yeah. You see here it will be RF. That is EF. RF is the latest version of lenses. And see, when you get a camera, you have to invest on a macro if you are going to do good photography in your clinical practice. There is no point getting a camera without a macro lens. So, which macro lens, which camera will you get is up to you to decide. I am comfortable with Canon because I grew with Canon. There are some people who are comfortable with Nikon, some people are comfortable with Sony, some people are comfortable with Leica. But Leica are pretty good brands, pretty expensive brands. Canon, I liked it because it's big. Nikon is too small. I mean, you spend 6 lakhs and then you get one tiny camera. You don't feel like the money spent, no, there is no value in it. That's like, you don't feel nice about that. It's like getting one diamond. One tiny, you spend 5-10 lakhs and then one small stone comes and then you really don't know whether it is 10 lakhs or, you really don't know. I'll tell you once, one in my clinic, one patient came, she was wearing a solitaire. Okay? So she removed it for X-ray, so she kept it, she went off. I don't know anything about it. Okay, so the housekeeping lady also didn't know. So 3 days later she called, she says, Doc, I think there is a chance that I left my earring. I said, okay madam, no problem. Doc, it's 35 lakhs per ring. I said, oh, what? You're calling me? I don't know who you are. I was like, you are sure madam, you kept it in the clinic? I'm pretty sure, Doc, I came from a wedding. I think I removed it. Kept the phone, I looked at my wife. How can somebody use 70 lakhs and walk off just like that? She says, she comes in the Jaguar. I said, that's okay, but still 70. No, the problem is where the earring is. So then we called the housekeeping. Very nice, she's been with us for a very, very long time. She said, I saw it, sir, some 10 rupees, I put it in tissue paper and I kept it on top. Good, please bring the tissue paper. Just like that. So in her thought process is, she's thinking that is 10 or 15 rupees. Sure. So looked at her and such a big one, solid. First time I'm seeing in my life. Okay, I looked at her, she said, is it very important? I said, no. I am sentimental value to this. You don't have to worry about all these things. So now it's one rule in the clinic. After that, anybody who removes their earring, we'll tell them, take a tissue paper, keep it with you, lose it, we will never get it back. 100%. So, it's like those. The smaller ones. Nikon is very small. Sony is too small. Like, it's very small, it doesn't fit. But then, if you take a Canon, it's like nice. You hold it, it looks like, okay, you pay 6 lakhs, it makes sense. Other than that, this doesn't make any sense. Now, this part is over. Now, the lens part of it, like I said, EF and RF. EF lenses are older version lenses. Like, they go for this, DSLRs. Now, when you get the mirrorless ones, you go with RF lenses. These lenses are very good. And whatever pictures you're seeing here are all with these lenses. this lens and this camera is good to get a photo, to do photography? No. Again, the person behind that is whom decides what to capture, how to capture, and where to capture. Now you have a lens, you have a camera, and you have an object. That's the teeth. Will the image come properly? No. Nothing will come properly. If you want to work with macro, you can't do anything with these two. Very difficult to take pictures of good quality. Then what you will read is light. Why you need the light is because when you take a picture with a macro lens, your aperture becomes very small. Aperture is nothing but which allows the light to pass through inside the camera. Now why are you making that aperture smaller is to get the depth of field, which means I need to see the teeth and the surrounding structures. So you have to increase the depth of field. If you increase the aperture, the depth of field becomes reduced. So which means surrounding areas become blurred off, but the light will be more. But then we don't want that. We need the depth. So when you decrease the aperture, the depth of field is increased, but there is no light. So to have those lights, you have to have flashes. Now when you have flashes, what kind of flashes can you have? See, these are the only flashes. There is one more, but that is too big for me to bring it, but then it's the same thing. So this initially you had what this is called as a ring flash. So you had a ring, you had a light, you had a trigger, and you put batteries inside this. Here. Here. Then goes, this is a hot shoe. You fix this hot shoe onto the camera and you will have numbers behind it. So you sync this to the camera's settings. When you click, this fires the light. Now what was the problem with the ring flash? Technically nothing wrong. Can I take good pictures? Yes. But when you take anterior pictures, what happened was there's something called as bounce back. The light hits and it bounces back. Soft tissues absorb light. Hard tissues reflect. And our teeth will reflect a light a lot. So what happens when it reflects back? The camera also takes that as an image, but the image comes as white light. You remember the first class when we had that, look for light reflecting zones, I said. That will denote the elevation of a given tooth structure. So that's what it does. There is an advantage, there is a disadvantage. Disadvantage is when the light hits the tooth and it bounces back, you don't see any image there. So you don't know the color, you don't know the texture, you don't know what is inside, what is outside on the tooth structure. So if you use this, there was a problem. Can you negate it? Yes, you can negate it by adding diffusers on top of this. You can make diffusers by yourself. You can have two magnets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 2, 1 and 2 over here. You cut an A4 paper, fix those, this becomes a temporary diffuser. You can even keep tissue paper on top so that the light which goes out is much less. Now, the next part, what happened was, then they thought that, what if we don't allow the light to go like that, and if we separate the light off? Then came your twin flashes. So this is a twin flash. So which means same principle, you connect it, but the flashes are separate. And the advantage is, you can move these flashes to any position you want, and you can adjust this angulation. So which means if I turn it off, it will not bounce on the tooth which I want, but it will still bounce on the adjacent tooth. Then they brought in diffusers for this also. In between, what happened was, they bought something called as polarizers. Okay, polarizers are nothing but, you have your sunglasses, right? you have polarized glasses. The principle is very simple in that. When light reflects and comes back to your glasses, it will allow light which hit the object only in 90 degrees. Any other angulation it comes, these polarizers will reflect it off. So what happens is, it's like you want to see somebody sitting inside the car where there is a windshield, light falls on it, and then certain things pass, certain things reflect back. So when you see, you can't actually see who is there. These glasses will reflect all those bouncy lights off. It will only give the light which passes through the glass. So when you wear those glasses, you can actually see the object which is inside. So they brought in polarizers. Now what they did with polarizers were fixed either to the lens or to your flashes. So you can fix both well. You can fix them on the flash and you can fix them on the lenses. So you had two types of polarizers. One is called as linear, one is called as circular. I am not going into the physics part of it because it's too much for you to learn. So linear is there, circular. I am telling this for PG's sake. If some weird character comes and asks you a question, what is a polarizer? So you just remember linear and circular. If you tell this, there's no more questions. So there was one linear, one is circular. The linear is fixed. Circular is you can rotate the polarizer. So which means you can change the angulations of what you're taking the picture. So light reflections can be changed. So they use it commonly for landscape photography, where if you're taking a sunset, right, sun rays will fall everywhere. But you want to create an effect wherein you want to particularly focus on one area where the sun rays fall. So they will use the circular polarizer. Now, so this is all was done. Then what they brought in was, they said, I need freedom. I don't want these wires. I need complete freedom. So then came twin flashes which can be remotely controlled. So what you do is, you have a controller like this. Okay, this goes into the head. These flashes, I can keep it anywhere I want. If I'm doing product photography, which slowly I'm getting into, that is also a nice hobby. And it gives you money. If you get a good company, they'll pay you a lot of money. Seriously, a lot of money. So then in that cases, I can place a flash like this. I can place one more flash like this. I can hang one product over here. And then I can trigger it. So which means everything is independent. And then you have a ring where you can connect these flashes also. Like this. So you can connect them onto the ring. Then they can work independently. Can I do one flash? Yes. Can I do both the flashes? Yes. Can I change the color of this? Of course. So you have lots of colors here. So you can add them inside. There's a sleeve here. When you add this, the colors of this will change. So you have sunset, lots of stuff, but then we can't use them for dentistry. It will look very weird. So we will stick with clear. So that is as far as this is considered. And then now with these flashes, what all can be controlled? We can control a lot of things. We can control the intensity of light. You can control the duration of light. And then you can even control the quality of light where it is. Quantity of light, not quality. Quantity of light which is passing out of it. So this is called as a diffuser. What you see, this is the diffuser. You can make your own diffuser. Take a tissue paper, crumple it, place it. It will diffuse the light off. So in a nutshell, if you know these things, it is fine. Now then, what comes is, you will have the lens. Okay, you will have an RF lens. This RF lens is also, this lens is close to 1,20,000. But when you have a camera, when you have a lens, you are upgrading your camera, and then you don't want to change the lens, you have something called as adapters. So these are from EF to RF adapters. Now what's the difference between EF and RF is, EF has close to 8 pins, RF will have 12 pins. So these adapters can be fixed onto the camera and then I can use my EF lenses, because all lenses are also expensive. Sometimes you have telephoto lenses which are close to 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, and then I get this camera, and then if I can't use those lenses, then it becomes absolutely waste. So you have adapters. These adapters are available for one camera to another camera, which means if I have a Canon and I get a Nikon lens and I want to fix the Nikon lens to a Canon, you still can. So you have adapters for that. Now, do I have adapters for fixing my camera onto the microscope? Yes, you have specific adapters. So which means when you get your microscopes, you have to tell the company what camera you're going to mount. So they will have a specific mount for that particular camera. Why? Because you see this diameter is not consistent with each cameras. Okay, each camera will have a very different diameter, but most of them is 58, 77, 102, it goes like that. So, but then you have to be pretty clear that what camera you are having, so that you tell your microscope guy that this is what the camera I want I have, so that you give me an adapter to it. Okay, so if you can know about this much in a short version for you to take photography, it is fine. Now this is the equipment part of it. Now when it comes to taking a photograph, how will I do it? So you should have camera, you have a camera, you should have a macro lens, you have a flash. Now, is there a particular setting for taking dental photography? Yes, that is a particular setting. Okay, PGs can write it down. ISO will be 125. Your shutter speed will be 1/125. Your f-stop will be maximum. Certain cameras have 22, certain cameras have 32, certain cameras have 28. Whichever, the higher the cost, the bigger the f number. So which means the depth of field is high. So f will be 32, and your flash will be synced to this. You can have manual, you can have automatic syncing. So you can take 1:1 ratio or 1:4. Now when you are going to use your take a photograph in an indirect manner, which means you use your mirror sometimes inside the mouth and then you take photos, right? In that case, your f alone will change. It will be 1/60. Okay? If you start playing around with this first, once you get an idea of how to do with this, then the rest becomes easy. So once you should take at least 1,500 photographs with this set. Then you will know where you're making a mistake. And after that, you can play only with the flash. Only with the flash. You don't change this setting. Then after that you keep the flash setting constant. You play around with your f-stops. Then sometimes you can not do anything to any of this. You can play around with ISO. Now ISO is the lower the ISO, better the image. Higher the ISO, it starts to pixelate. Okay, so if you are shooting a fast object, your ISO will be higher. If you are shooting a slow object or a stationary object, keep your ISO as less as possible, because I am not going into other parts. We are going to talk about dentistry. So keep it 1 by 1, which is 125. So you have even 60, you have 80, you have 125, you have 200. Lower the ISO, more light you will require. Higher the ISO, lesser the light you will require, because the shutter goes, and same ways. Lower shutter speed, more light and more stabilization, but the quality of picture is greater. So which means if you are going to keep one frame over there and then you are going to take a light, for example, you should not have any movement of your camera, and this happens when you take photography in your microscope. Okay, so this you are keeping it at maximum magnification, right, in your microscope itself. Then you are fixing your camera on top of it. Every time you go press this trigger over there, you will create movements. So when you are using in your microscope, it's always better to have a remote trigger. It's not expensive, 1,500 bucks it is. So you fix that to the camera, you can actually take the remote so that the microscope doesn't shake. And some have triggers are wired triggers. So you can have those wired triggers in your hand, you can connect them to the camera and you can click it. So it will help you to take. By time, you will actually know how to click it without creating vibrations. Well, everything with camera is cost. It's always cost. But then, if you like it, you should buy it. So any doubts? Shutter speed? 1. Shutter speed is 1 by 125. No, yes, this will not be comfortable. Why you have got it? This one you have, right? And then get an adapter. RF will be compatible to EF if you get an adapter for EF. This is a reverse. This is an adapter for this one to get EF adapter to this. The reverse. You do have adapters. We do have adapters, but this is too advanced for this kind. You can actually with lenses, see with RF, you have 3 rings. There is 1 ring here, 2nd ring here, 3rd ring here. So all these rings can be actually synced to the camera. But do you require all that? Is no. Because by the time we take one picture now, we will be so crazy that we want the picture. With photography, it will always start like this because it's a chaos. Even in clinic, it's chaos. I'm telling you. Because you have to get up. The frame has to be ready. And the patient should not move. And then no untoward incidences should have ever happened in that time period. And then after that you have to get up, go take your camera, come back. Till that time, nothing should go wrong in that given space. Okay? Neither your assistant shouldn't sneeze, nor the patient should move. I'm talking in seconds, I'm not even talking in minutes. And then when you focus, nothing should happen. And then you should click. Initially, it's a nightmare. Why? I'll take the camera, patient will move the my assistant would have touched, said this is something the dam would have moved. So slowly as you progress, you will minus 1111 disadvantage yourself. So you will expect it and you will know, okay, this is the time I should take the camera. Till the time I should not leave. If not, what will happen is, you will go even before you do. And then you will take. And the problem with photography is, it shows all nonsense whatever you made in digital format. One mistake of you will be blown. However big you are blowing it, that number of times it gets blown out. And when you show, it can be either wow or it can be what. So that is also a disadvantage. Sometimes the composites, whatever restorations you do, you will think that it is wow. But I would highly recommend you to take a picture of it, not in your mobile, but in your DSLR, zoom it. Then you will understand, oh my God, there is so much left there. Even today, there are so many areas where I feel I could have been better. And don't feel bad when you don't get results like what you see in your Insta or in your Facebook. Okay, but 90% of them are modified. 90, because to get that color texture is very, very difficult. Very difficult, trust me. I'm telling you, after all these years, 6-7 years, it is all thanks to Photoshop. Because the light will be right, everything will be right. The plate what we keep, no, there will be white spots there. And thanks to yes, they will think they are washing a vessel and they will put the scrub back, nicely scrub it off. When you take a picture, in naked eye nothing will be seen. But when you take, and when you want to crop, and when you want to zoom, you will see the teeth, and then you will see white lines on the plate. You will not know what to do. Only thing what you can do is you can go back to Photoshop, re-edit it, or cut it and crop it. But then that goes off. So as you progress slowly towards photography, you will know when actually to take the photograph. You will not get up till the time. Initially, for everything the camera will be ready. You will not even know for what you are taking the camera. You will just take the camera and you will start clicking it, thinking that it is all wonderful photographs. But then when you realize, out of 2000 photographs, not one will be good enough for you to think, but do take, don't stop yourself. Only then you will learn. So how to take better photography with the light, because for us light is constant. You are not looking at sun, dawn, dusk, or no, light is constant. What we have to play around is only the surroundings. So once you get that, then it becomes easy for you to take photographs. Any other doubts? Can I use mobile to take photography? Commonly they'll ask. Yeah, you can, but then that is not equivalent to any DSLR. Companies will claim, iPhone will claim you can take this, that, but then it is not close to, because it's fine to see in a mobile, it's fine to see in a laptop. If you project it here, it will just like that go off. Just like that go off. So because you will need, see, this screen what you see, this is like you have your TV, right? This is like one OLED. See, now what you see is unedited. I have not edited any of these pictures. Nothing. But then, if I need this kind of quality, see I'll keep it like this, okay? Everybody is able to see. I told you we can play with light, right? So this is one light. Okay? You see this? Here, what I wanted was, I wanted to show you guys the depth of that caries which is there. Now when I increase the light, the depth is not seen. So I take photographs like this to teach. So it's for me, when I take a picture, there's a story in my mind, and then I remember only that story. I will forget the pictures. But when I go back to that picture, I will know why I have taken that picture. So likewise, if you see all these, whatever I have taken, okay, now tell me what you see here. This is a crown. No, laminate. This was done 13 years ago. There's something wrong in this. Okay, and I'll show you what it is. You see this? This is how I started this case. This is a laminate. Now this is a full crown. This is laminate, this is laminate, this is laminate. Okay, now this root canal was done by somebody else. So she finished the root canal, she came to me. That time no discoloration was there. So I went ahead to give a crown. Now 13 years later she comes. So it's like this. So what I did was, I went inside the tooth, inside the crown, did an internal bleaching. This is after 7 minutes. So which means you still can save the tooth, but how is it possible? Magnification. Minusing magnification, no chance. So this maximum cost 10,000 bucks. If I remove the crown, there is a cost for it, and we don't know how the tooth is inside. And then if the tooth goes off, it's expensive. So every story, every picture has a story to it. So when you take pictures even to record, as you when open your clinic or as a postgraduate, remember the story. Create one story in your mind. Okay, this picture I'm taking because this mistake I have made. And this picture I've taken so that I have rectified this mistake. And keep that in your mind. That will remain always, because we don't forget stories. Stories are something our brain is always remember till we die, and we are programmed. Classical example will be, if I ask you guys to draw a scenery, what will you draw? Everybody will draw the same. One mountain will be there and one tree will be there. You know why we do this? No. This is a DNA which is coded in every damn human being, because you forget everything. Don't forget this. This is where you will have shelter, food and water to drink. You can ask anybody, any race, African, American, Japanese, Chinese, Indian, all will say. Nobody will say tall, triced building, me staying in the 20th floor. None will say. Everybody will go back to nature. Why? Because that's a code, which is an unsaid code which is there within you, because we know we have to eat to survive. And we need water to drink. So, said you like it or not, even if you don't teach a baby, ask them to draw, they'll do. They'll actually draw this. So that's so powerful. Our brain is to remember stories. How many stories and how many gossips you. And 20 years later you will forget the name of the person. You know, that girl was with that guy. Yeah, now you tell. Now I'm able to. Instantaneously you will click, because you will remember the story. Today, even if some of my batchmates, schoolmates come and say, you remember him? See, that fellow man who drove the bike, who fell upside down, pant torn, yeah. I remember. So that's how stories will influence you. So if you can have a story for every image, short one, don't have like Ramayana and Mahabharata part 1s, part 2s, don't have. Okay? So have a very short story so that you will be able to recollect it. Any other doubts? All of us. actresses fix their makeup. And last time when I went to Mumbai, I saw this girl who was dancing for that Rajini's movie. One song was there, I forgot that song. She's from Mumbai. She's traveling, she's sitting next to me. I thought somewhere I'd seen this face. Okay. I was very scared because my facial recognition software is unimaginably bad. Unimaginably bad. Okay, 10 times I don't see my face, I will look at the mirror and say, who the hell he is? Okay. She sat next to me and then she asked, you're a dentist? I said, yes. I came off. She said, bye. I came, then we landed. There were people there. One doctor came and said, do you know her? I said, I was thinking I know her somewhere, I don't know. Doctor said, how do you know her? I don't know, that's what I'm trying. She's an actress, you do know. I said, I didn't. Sometimes it is too difficult. Why? Because most of the time in movies, they are all shown in a very different angle, different format. There are one actress, I don't want to name, but I believe she was 6 feet. For some reason, I really genuinely believe, or I wanted her to be 6 feet, I don't know. So I met her in the gym, okay, my friend introduced me. I said, hi, hello, my friend is a surgeon, pediatric surgeon. So I genuinely thought she is also a pediatric surgeon. So she was like this. I thought she was 6'4". Okay, the angle was always in movie like this, like standing tall. So she spoke, then my friend asked, can't you tell that you're acting well? Acting well, where? You have nothing other than dentistry here. No, I do watch movies. Then he said few movies. I said, I've watched. She's the same girl. What the hell are you talking? Where's the other half? Only one half I'm seeing, the rest of the half is missing. She came, okay. She looked at me and said, what? You're telling me you're missing the other half? I said, yeah. That's camera. She said, I said, okay. And I asked her, you heard it? Of course. My friend said, don't do anything, talk about her. She will rip you up. Okay. So, cameras are very different things. What you see is different, very different. You will see one tooth kept very neatly. That's an indirect shot which is cropped. Nobody can put a camera and say something. No, even if you take directly, it is impossible for even, you can take only till your canines directly. After that is, patient has to be a prophet. Yeah. 1 second. Abdullah, आपने सर्टिफिकेट भी ले लिया कहाँ से? नहीं मेरा वो sorry, you asked a question. No, the mirrors, you have different kinds of mirrors like the mountains. Okay, certain mirrors reflect, certain mirrors don't reflect. If you want to get good ones, don't get it in India. If you have a friend who's in Singapore, leave Singapore. Pakistan you have also. They have better mirrors there. They are surprising. That is for single mirrors. I am talking about photography mirrors. Photography you have different mirrors. You have bigger ones. Also, if you go, those guys will have one mirrors, right? Okay, like that, you have big one, up-close mirrors, then you have small, longer ones. Those mirrors, get it from Pakistan makes beautiful mirrors. And Singapore, there's one company called Capri. Yeah. But don't get Indian ones. Indian ones, they will be very bad. And these mirrors should have your, like reserved mirrors, front surface. But when they have front surface, there is a lot of light. So you should remember, you should adjust your flash accordingly and then take those carefully go sideways and then take a picture. No. I'll show you one picture. See what you're seeing here. This is taken on the sideways of the patient. Okay. Now, this is with a mirror. I can't take a picture like this inside the patient's mouth. But when you see it, you will feel that you have taken, somebody is taken, put the microscope inside the mouth and taken it. No. That's what I'm saying. You can't take pictures like that. This is with a mirror. When you see it, you will believe that it is, I have a patient, how? It is this big. It's impossible. For a patient has to be a crocodile to open the mouth so big for us to take. So what we do is, you have partial mirrors. You place it on top and you take a picture on the mirror. And this is with the camera, not with the microscope. Both. See, this is from the camera. Now with the microscope I'll show you. This is with the microscope. Okay, now, but I can zoom it to whatever extent I want. You're seeing this pixelation, right? This is because the scope has this limitation. Now when I take it with this camera, you see that? So that is the difference. Now when you have read, no, 0.5 mm. This is 0.5 mm. So this precise you can actually work. And if you see this case, the premolar is prepped only from here to here. So its preparation from here to here. This half of the tooth I have not even prepped. And if you see the molar, it is only prepped here. So this is through this camera and the lens. But I used a mirror to take the picture. You can record videos, you can record a lot of things with these stuffs. So this is again with a mirror. But when you see, you will feel that the photographer, the camera, all are inside the patient's mouth. No, that's not the truth. This is again with a mirror.
So I just wanted to know the mirror in which angle so that, like, I'll show you mine.
See, this is directly with the microscope, with the camera, where, what was I recording? I was recording two bonds. So when I place one drop of bond, what actually happens? Sometimes you're so jobless in life, you don't know what to do. With PG's mind, I can understand such jobless person in life putting one drop of bond and recording to know what's happening with the bond. Yeah, when you cross your life, no, and when you come we have the luxury of putting drop of bond and then checking what happens. Heating up a composite. Have you ever burnt a wood? Don't do this, okay? I am not telling them to do it, okay? Have you ever heated a composite? No? Never tried? Austin? No? Have you tried to heat hypochlorite? What? Something you should do. No? Boys hostel? No? Have you tasted hypochlorite? No? Only one. See, that fellow will become big guy. Now you get his Insta handle, everything, and keep it safe. Some point of time, that dude is going to rock. None of you have tasted bonding agent. So PGs, technically, if you want to finish post-graduation, you should know how hypochlorite tastes, how hydrogen peroxide tastes, how LA tastes, bonding agent, how it tastes. You put one drop of bonding inside your mouth and then see. Unimaginable taste. The best taste you can ever have. Have you tasted glass enemas? Never comes to your mind. You're putting so much in somebody else's mouth, once I should taste and see. No? Have you taken an LA inside your mouth? Yeah? Most of you. Those who have not taken, you should try. How is that experience? You've never? Have you done any sedation cases? Yeah? What sedation you use? Medazolam, have you seen? Have you ever taken medazolam? Don't take. Okay, I'm telling you because medazolam you will not even know what you are doing. The most funniest part of medazolam is it's a drug. Once induced inside, your brain starts the switch off button for recording what is happening. You can tell whatever nonsense you want, and you will not remember after the drug is taken out. So, like I said, all these things you can record. So this you can do it with microscopes. Can I do it with camera? It's difficult. Pretty difficult because to hold that camera and keep is not possible. Is there a mechanism? Yes. There is something called as they use it in movies. It's called as a rail track stand, wherein you can fix your camera and you can actually move your camera. It will be like a rail track. So you can actually focus it onto the patient's mouth, and then you can tighten it, and then you can record it. But picture quality of this is far better when compared to your camera. So that's how photography works as of now. Any other questions you have? See, okay, today I'll teach you. You have your camera?
Yes. Okay.
We shall teach.
Thanks, sir.
And if you have an ortho friend, get that mirror and see. You can even these are pictures of cracks within the tooth. And that's your light curve. So you can figure out all this. So whatever you're seeing here is raw image, unedited image. Yesterday's case which I showed you. This is how you can dissect your crack. This is a very long video, but so this is how you can dissect a crack on a tooth surface. But this is all with microscopes connected to a crop sensor. go to this level. Any other questions, doubts you have in regard to the camera? Yes. Certain things in life, no, you have to do it for yourself. There is no recovery in it. See, certain other things, it's okay. But like I said, if this is a hobby, see, when at your age, you will want to try a lot of things, and you want to do lots of things. Even today, I want. There's nothing wrong. But after certain exposures in life, right? The most important thing what you want is peace of mind. The rest becomes secondary. Now, for that peace of mind, you will need a hobby. And you don't put a price tag for your hobby. Because, trust me, when I'm with this camera, no, the zone what I'm in is unimaginably nice. Whichever, you can take singing, you can take just driving, or listening to music. It can be anything. But that, you have to pick it up. Listening to music, you will need a good headphone. Headphones can be as cheap as 2,000 bucks to as expensive as 20 lakhs. So it's up to you to decide what's giving you that thrill. And for me, two things give me a lot of thrill. One is teaching. Second one is photography. And dentistry is not in that. Actually speaking, dentistry not at all in that. Wildlife is that. So that's a different story. But then this is like I can't go there, so I'm compensating it for dentistry. And if you ask return of investment, it comes because I teach. And when I do courses like this, I do get paid for it. And there is a return of investment. So I don't mind. But then, for that you have to invest. But it's both ways. I'm happy, it's a hobby, and my hobby is paying. Being blessed, that's all. Any other questions?
So this another lens which is ultra wide lens.
Yes. Yes.
So we can also for instance.
No. See, anything we go with zoom, ultra wide angle, you will have to add lenses on top of it for you to convert that into macro. So an ultra wide angle will give you a huge space to take. But then we are not looking at landscapes. We are looking at 5 millimeters. So wide angle zoom lens will not.
So the 50 mm. So that was
Yeah, even 50 mm if you have to have a 50 mm macro, only then you will be able to work. So ultra wide angle will not work.
so the 50 mm we can put the problems we can also
Yes.
focus is good.
Focus is fine, so that's why I said you have to add converters on top. So you will add 2-3 lenses which will help you to reach that zoom level. But then every time you add converter to a 50 mm, you are increasing the focal length. So wherein you will change there is 2 aberrations will happen. Chromatic aberrations, which means color aberrations will happen because you really don't know where these lenses are made, extra lenses which you add, and what is their refractive index or the level in that. So every lens you add, you will see one green or some halo around the picture. That is called as chromatic aberrations because these lenses will bleed colors. the more expensive the lenses are, they don't allow this to happen because these lenses are specific size and they're always in, one will be concave, convex, concave, convex. But when you place an extra lens, it's always convex lenses which you will place. So that is why 50 mm is not a good choice.
So the movement have to be in a distance.
No. And that is why in this I told you, there is, you have, if you can come here and show. Come. When this ring, when we move this, okay, this will start at infinity and it will bring the object closer and closer. So you will have, when I fix this to the camera, you can all come so that you can also see. See now, you see this, right? This is your 100 mm. Now, when I move this, you're able to see that? No, just watch this. Image will not come, but this is moving, right? So this is actually zooming in for me. So this is 1:1x means it is in equal ratio, 1:1 ratio. Then when I come even closer, this is 1:1.5, which means the magnification is 1.4 times higher than what you see. Now why this is not picking up images, I have set it in the lower f-stop. So now if I increase this f-stop, I should be able to but then in this image, if you see, this is lost. So I have lost the depth of field. Why? Because this I have compensated the depth of field. See, ISO is 200. So if I want this to be taken with a flash, if I keep, I will get that depth of field. That is what you have to understand. Camera is good, for sure, no doubt so. Any other questions? If not, we will start with cases. Then we go for cases. And then man, I must watch slides. Yes. I already. Anything else? Feel free to ask, okay? I'm telling you. It's okay to ask, and I have no job to teach. Then, from my side, I also want a review back yours. Okay, you can send it to me. My Insta handle, right? You can send it whatever. I'm slowly collecting. So let's see how much. How many can send us. Whatever it is, 2, 3 times. Whichever you want to write, send it to me. I will treasure it. I think we'll have certificate distributed now. Karthik, you finished it off? Okay.
आपके प्रीति पेशेंट सिद्धि हाँ 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 ठीक है तुम्हारे प्रीति पेशेंट है
शिवा पे आया है एक
ये आ रहे हैं वेरी गुड स्टील बताओ कहाँ
What she's asking is yesterday's case where you saw the notch, right? I asked you a question. What could be the reason?
सेवा में पड़े पहाड़ी है अच्छा अच्छा और सिद्धि के साथ
Question what they are asking is when will you decide for the activation? Now, the answer to that will be depends upon
कौन सी डिपार्टमेंट है? कहाँ पोस्ट है? ओएस प्रोस्तो।
Good morning to everyone present here. It's a privilege to stand here today as we conclude our fellowship course of aesthetic dentistry. This journey has been truly enriching, allowing us to enhance our knowledge, refine our clinical skills, and better understand the art and science of creating confident smiles. We are deeply grateful to our mentors and faculty members for their invaluable guidance, support, and encouragement throughout this program. Your dedication has inspired us to strive for excellence in our professional journey. The mentor for this course, Dr. Mohan Kumar Arya sir, is a renowned clinician, academician, and thought leader in aesthetic and micro restorative dentistry. He currently serves as a professor at Priyadarshini Dental College, Chennai, where he actively mentors and trains the next generation of dental professionals. He holds a key leadership roles in secretary of both the Aesthetic Dentistry Association of India and the Indian Association of Conservative Dentistry and Endodontics, contributing significantly to the advancements of modern restorative and aesthetics. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mohan Kumar Arya? Can we call students for genuine feedback of the second fellowship course in aesthetic dentistry? Can we have Sanskar, Dr. Sanskar, please?
Now, attending this course with conducted by Dr. Mohan sir was a very enriching experience. We learned not only about the clinical practice in the theoretical part, but as well how to convince the patients, and also the materials we are going to use in our clinics and everything. And he also taught us about the photography skills today. He brought his assets with us and showed us about the cameras, taught us about the restorative techniques, and especially smile designing part and the aesthetic concerns of people, that every patient is unique, every patient is like beautiful, and no one is like, we can't force our judgments on the patients. Thank you, sir, for this experience and teaching us all this. Thank you so much, sir.
Can we have Dr. Sanchita on stage, please?
A very good morning, everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank Dr. Sonali Taneja ma'am and the college for introducing such an amazing course to us. And it has been a wonderful experience through all the 3 modules under Dr. Mohan Kumar sir. Sir had been very particular and he was very much successful in developing our interest in this branch and making us look to this branch in a very different perspective. It has a lot more than we have known it in our undergraduation, and the modules were amazing. We were first taught about different procedures. There was a detailed theory lecture on it. Then we had hands-on. Then we had hands-on in the preclinical labs. Then we had hands-on on the patients, and this developed our confidence in the field. And also we learned a lot new different things which we thought were just simple restorations or simple crowns or just simple dentistry, which had a different way of looking, which had something very new to do, to learn, and it had been a very amazing experience. Hoping that we keep on doing this practice and continuing this in future. Thank you.
Can we welcome Dr. Thupa ma'am, please?
A very good morning to all of you. Today, on third module of last day of third module of this course, conducted by Dr. Mohan Kumar sir under the guidance of Dr. Sonali Taneja ma'am, I also want to thank Abriti ma'am, Divya ma'am, and all the staff out there who helped us in giving us patience, in helping us, collecting materials from that department, and all that work was too nice. Everybody was so cooperative, and today we get this hands-on on photography, which was very insightful, which was a very new thing for us, which we have not yet thought this is also possible in the industry. So thank you, Sonali ma'am, and thank you sir.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful lecture, as well as for being so sweet to us. Because I know some of the questions were really weird and they were very immature, I suppose. Because ma'am से पूछते तो थोड़ा सा So, sir, can we please have you on stage? Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Now, this is new for the batch which has been there. Usually I don't do this, but then this is for the batch who wants to join. Now, PG's options are this. That's said and done. They don't have an option because the choice they have made already. But interns and undergraduates, your options are open, which means you can select whatever you want to do, however you want to. And that's the beauty of being an intern, under nobody's control. Correct? So you enjoy it. You go ask a PG house life. Just try it out. You should go in the evening when they do the last quiz. Go any department, random, you choose. You go there, you ask, how's your life? They will fold the hands and say, nothing. Please come back after 3 years, we will talk to you. But the point is not that. The point is, when you do your post-graduation, it's not a chance, it's a choice. If you make a choice, you enter into it, and then you decide on it. But there is a downside of it, you know that? Even in these courses, I will always ask the interns to talk. You know why PGs? I know what they will say, because I finished them. The mind is very constricted, focused on a single agenda. But whereas internship is like you can think of anything under the roof of dentistry. If I show one picture and I ask what you're going to do, they will all be stuck with that picture. If I show the same picture to an intern, no, 100 things will come. Right or wrong is secondary. But the point is, you're thinking. And that's the beauty of being an intern. So, now, why am I talking about all this is, according to statistics I'll tell you, if you're 100 in a batch, 70 don't practice dentistry. This is a statistics which was taken by the highest body in India. Why 70 doesn't practice is, the 70 of them feel dentistry was to do something with themselves, and then they realize that it is not for them. I am here to talk to the 30 who really want to change their life. Now, is post-graduation necessary? Of course, it is. But it depends upon how serious you are in doing that particular subject. The drawbacks of doing post-graduation, I'll tell you myself. If you ask me a question in prosthetics, I have zero knowledge about it. Why? Because I've spent my entire life doing one field. When I finished my masters, I realized after masters I had no clue what I did. And that's also a truth, because I was not exposed to other things other than my own college, my own staff, and my own environment. I come from Chennai. When I left India, I went abroad for an exam. I topped in my university. That's the second story. But the point is, when I went out of India, I realized I had no clue on latest equipments. I had no clue on latest technique. I didn't even know how to switch on one machine, which I knew to write about it fully. So then, that is when I came back. I finished from Savita. I met the owner. I told him very clearly, what we are doing is nonsense. Seriously, it doesn't make any sense. We are theoretically sound, unimaginably theoretically sound. But when it comes to practical, very small decisions becomes very difficult, because I went through that phases. For even to take a call on whether to do a class 3 cavity with glass ionomer or composite is a challenge. Because in college, you're already given a thought process that class 3 filling with glass ionomer or filling with composite. So what happens is, you know what you're going to do because you have a quota to finish. And then when you come to clinical practice, it's a complete different ballgame, because everything is your responsibility. Second, now, world is running with digital things. Everything is becoming digital. Your Insta decides what you're going to do. You have to just talk something, conversations between me and my wife. If I say, I'm planning to get an iPhone watch, the next few reels are all full of iPhone watches. God knows, even God doesn't hear that much what phone hears. So it's become so much so. And then that influences a lot of people. Meaning not you, your own patients I'm talking about. So what happens is, they see an Insta and they believe in Insta or digital world, and then they will come and ask, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do names like veneers were only pronounced by dentists, not even pronounced when I did my course. Nobody knew anything about it. Patients, it is difficult. Nowadays, patients will come and ask you in your clinical practice, do you do veneers? You will be shocked at which veneers you want. They might even say, do you do lithium disilicate or do you do this veneers? Because so much of information is there for the patient and as well as for you. Now, if you really, really want to know about all these things, you have only two options. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. One, you should do masters under certain colleges, which your college is also good, which I've been talking to ma'am that in whole of Delhi there are only very 2 colleges, which I feel it is good enough to learn, and your college ranks first. And this is being told by a lot of people, just not so. All credits to you and the entire team. Then, second part, you should know everything about everything. Is that possible? Close to impossible. What colleges do now is, they do courses, which we were not exposed, we didn't have a chance. So, if you find courses and if you don't want to do masters, take up these courses, join with them and learn. I'm not just talking about this course in particular, there will be a lot of courses which you will have in your own colleges, but prioritize on what you want to learn. Don't learn for the sake of getting one degree and not using it at all. It won't make any difference, and dentistry is skill based. Theory is there, you should have theory, but then skill, once you leave college, it becomes 80% skill and 20% is your theoretical knowledge. So, whenever you have time, effort and the resources, make use of it wisely. Okay? Thank you guys. Thank you ma'am for calling me. It's been wonderful 3 months with you, with your department, and especially with this batch of students. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now we proceed with the certificate distribution to all the participants in recognition of the successful completion of second fellowship course in aesthetic dentistry. All the participants would be receiving 3 certificates, one from ADAI, that is Aesthetic Dentistry Association of India, second from SHOFU, and third from ITS Dental College, Ghaziabad. May I now request our esteemed Director Principal, Dr. Devi Charan Shetty sir, Dr. Sonali Taneja ma'am, and Dr. Mohan Kumar RS sir to kindly come forward and distribute the certificates to the participants. Can I have Dr. Gaurav Agrawal, please? Please give him a huge round of applause. Next, may I request Dr. Navya Madam. Dr. Pragya Rathod. Dr. Shruti Shukla. Dr. Vidushi Chandra. Dr. Brinda Lal. Dr. Pritika Bali. A huge round of applause, please. Dr. Neha. Dr. Simran Gupta. Dr. Sparsh. Dr. Tuba. Dr. Soumya Singh. Dr. Vendrakshi. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? Dr. Sanchi Mittal. Dr. Sanskar Singhal. Dr. Soumya Gupta. Dr. Aritra Sarkar. Dr. Ayachi Jha. Next in line, can we have Dr. Priyanka Das, please? A huge round of applause for Dr. Richa Arya. Can we have Dr. Gaurav Kumar Sharma, please? Moving forward, can we have Dr. Priyanshi Tyagi? Dr. Sanchita Tiwari, a huge round of applause. Dr. Suhail Ahmed. Dr. Aman Agrawal. Dr. Apurv Pratap. Dr. Fahim. And last but not the least, Dr. Nayan. Please give him a huge round of applause. Thank you once again to everyone who made this program a memorable and meaningful experience. Congratulations to all the participants. Thank you, sir, for joining us today.